Alex Spears introduced Jeremiah Webster. You guys know us by watching Red Sox games. I mean, I'm very excited to be here this morning. And we got quite the cast of characters, guys that we hope to see very soon.
It's a pretty extraordinary group. I've been covering Red Sox prospects for a long time, and if you think about waves of players coming through together, I think that the reference points that you would use for some of the guys that we're going to be introducing today are when in 2016 you had a team with Andrew Benintendi and Yohan Moncada and Rafael Devers at the beginning of the season. Back in 2014 when you had Mookie Betts coming up with Blake Swihart and Henry Owens. And I know that those are, not all of those names became what you thought. Some of them became more than what you thought. But this is a group that really stands out in terms of recent memory for young Red Sox prospects.
Most definitely. So let's kick it off with a bang. Without further ado, let's welcome first-round draft pick Nick Yorke in 2020, Marcelo Mayer in 2021, Roman Anthony, paid like a first-rounder in 2022, and we have Kyle Teel, the first-rounder from last season, 2023. What's going on, fellas? Come on out. Come on out. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I think we do better than that. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. That'll wake them up. I mean, these guys are all 21 and under. I mean, come on, we got to wake them up.
Actually, it's interesting. We did note that Roman is 19 years old, so it is noteworthy to Jeremiah and me that they chose the youngest group to be first in the morning. Yeah.
I don't think that was by accident. So what's going on, fellas? Quick check-in. Like, how you guys been? What's the offseason been like for you, Kyle?
It's been great. Just a lot of training and working hard, getting ready for the season.
Roman?
Same thing, just been moving around, training, trying to surround myself with the best guys I can and, be in different environments. So I've been going back and forth from different places, and it's been awesome.
Just staying ready.
Staying ready, that's it.
And we caught up real quick, Marcel. I mean, he had quite the eventful way to start the new year. Yeah. He lost his phone for 6 days, so I'm not sure how many 21-year-olds can last that long, but you got through it.
Yeah, I was definitely tripping a little bit. But yeah, New Year's Eve, I was at the pool with some of my buddies. Phone fell in the water, so couldn't record the countdown, all that cool stuff. But
it happens. Cool. It's always next year.
Yeah, right.
How you been staying busy? What's up, Nick?
Oh, yeah, I've been all around. All of us were at that rookie dev camp at Fenway, which was pretty cool, and I was fortunate enough to go out to Trevor Story's camp in Dallas, so just been bouncing around, working out.
Oh, wow, I'm still waiting for my text. I didn't get the invite to that one.
We got you next year.
Okay, yeah, all right. You guys heard it. All right, it's happening. We'll be there.
So it is interesting to see all of you guys together now. All four of you guys finished the year in AA in Portland, right? And you get the opportunity to start to get to know each other, to come up and develop together. But I am curious, kind of, let's roll back to the beginning of when you became Red Sox. All of you guys prominent draft picks. Did you guys expect that that you might, be wearing these jerseys, or was that kind of when you got the call saying, okay, we're about to pick you, was that like, oh my gosh, never saw this coming? Why don't we start with you, Nick, since you're the old man of this group in terms of Red Sox tenure?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shock for me. Between all the teams, though, the Red Sox were the most prominent team that was coming to my house, doing all these workouts and stuff. But it's just been super cool to be able to work with these guys again. Like, I got to play Marcelo in high school, and then I also played Teel and USAs when we were young. So it's just been super fun and cool to be able to work with these guys every day.
How about you, Marcelo? You were talked about as maybe going as high as number 1 in that 2021 draft class. Red Sox were picking number 4. Did you, where did you think you were going to end up then?
Yeah, I mean, draft night's a pretty crazy night, so I wasn't really sure, anything could happen in the draft. So, I was just looking to go out there, have fun, and enjoy my draft night. I had a party with all my friends, family. So it was a really special day, and, I couldn't be happier where I am.
How about you, Roman? Were you thinking? I mean, how much you went in the second round? Were you thinking did you have the Red Sox very much on your radar? Did you have college very much on your radar entering draft night?
Yeah, I was in the middle. I was, I was happy with where I was going to college, but obviously the end goal was to be a big leaguer. So I always wanted to play pro ball as quick as I could. And, it worked out well. We had built a great relationship, throughout the high school year. And as the year went on and as it progressed, we got closer and closer with the Red Sox. And, I had a good idea that was where I wanted to go just based off of the relationship we had built over time. And then when the draft night came, they were in contact, all night, even before the draft started. And then, luckily we were able to work something out, at that pick. And I was super excited. So it was awesome.
Yeah. And Kyle, did you think that the Red Sox were very much a possibility? And what is it like to actually be told, what is the physical feeling like of, when you're told you are about to be drafted in the first round at number 14 overall?
Yeah, I mean, overall, just pure feelings of excitement. When I heard my name get called and by the Red Sox, it was just a dream come true. And then everything after just happened so fast, moving up quick and playing with great prospects like these guys you can't ask for anything more. So.
Along those lines, you guys talked about the relationships and the fact that you guys are all coming up together. You've been in development to camp. How would you describe the bond that's kind of being formed right here, laying the groundwork for your careers as you guys continue to ascend?
It's great because we're friends on the field, but we're friends off the field. So, I mean, team camaraderie is huge, and to be able to potentially bring a World Series to Fenway one day and for the Red Sox, team camaraderie is going to be huge in that.
Certainly like to hear that. World Series to Fenway.
How much do you guys talk about that? How much, you guys all finished the year at the same level. You guys have had, especially Nick, you were in Portland all of last year. You got to see these guys, it was a good affiliate to start the year, and then you're seeing kind of top prospects coming up and joining the group. How much do you talk about what the future can look like?
To be honest, we talk about it. It's all our common goal to win the World Series. If there's one thing we all want, it's to win a World Series in the big leagues. But our main goal usually is to be present where we're at and focus on what we can do to win the game wherever we're at. And that happened to be in Portland this year, so we just did everything we can to win the games in Portland.
Marcelo, can you talk about kind of how the group dynamics play out? What it means to be developing. The minor leagues are very much focused on individual development in many ways. Hit the ball harder, and let's see if we can increase your range, by this amount in this direction. At the same time, how much attention, how much thought do you give to the idea of what you're building culturally in trying to create a winning environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, we think about every single day. I think it starts in spring training. I think we all work hard. It's easy to get along with these guys just because we all know that we share the same goal, which is one day to maybe be in the big leagues and win a World Series. So it's, it makes it easy to hang out with them on and off the field. We all hold each other accountable. We all love to work hard and do all the fun stuff.
And just a little historical fact that Alex had mentioned, Marcelo, you were the youngest Red Sox draftee to get to Double-A since Anthony Rizzo in 2009. He held that title for about 2 months until Roman got there as a young guy, as a 19-year-old. And Kyle, you were the first rounder in decades to go to Double-A just after signing. What is it like when you guys get over there as opposed to some of you guys who have gone to other levels of baseball in the organization? What's baseball like in New England?
I love it. I mean, I think our low A and high A are obviously in Salem and Greenville, so you're not in the Northeast, so there's fans there because there's Boston fans everywhere in the world, but it's kind of, you don't really get to experience the full Northeast until you get to Portland because that's the first time you experience it, and that's when, it really hits you. The fans are super passionate there. They shout every single day in Portland, and it's super cool to play in front of them.
Kyle and Roman, I mean, you guys just had that experience at the end of last year. Were you able to take anything from that experience in Portland, where you're probably going to start this coming year, right? What was your first exposure like? I guess, Kyle, you had played the Cape League as well, right?
Yes.
So you had experienced a little bit of New England baseball, although it's a little bit different when you're representing the Red Sox. What was it like for you guys getting that late season exposure up in New England?
Yeah, similar to what Cello was just saying. I spent a good part of the year in Virginia and then in Greenville. But when I got to Double-A, I was only there for the last week at home since we started on the road. But when we got home, it was the first time I had really played, in the Northeast. And as I was walking out from the clubhouse to the dugout, I was like, okay, wow, this really feels real. And it started to hit me a little bit at the end of the year that, okay, now we're that much closer. And being in Maine, not too far from Boston, it just feels that much more real.
How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I would just say that playing in the Northeast is awesome. It's something I've done my whole life, and I love how passionate the fans are here. It makes you play harder. It makes you play with more energy, and I love it.
How much have you had to explain to your friends in New Jersey that you are now on the other side of things?
Yeah, they give me crap all the time, but there's definitely a lot of people converted over there too. So.
Be following your career for a long time then. Roman, what about you? I mean, the minor league player of the year, offensive player of the year, the award that you won, player of the year. After you achieve a goal like that, do you set your sights on going higher? How do you do that, achieve a higher goal than something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the end goal ever really changed. I think for me, like going into this year is my first full season, just trying to learn as much as I can from, guys like this around me that have more experience than myself, or just the coordinators that come through, all the different managers or whoever it may be. So for me, it was just, wherever I was at every day, just trying to, starting from spring training, learn as much as I can. And then, like I said, the end goal at the end of the day is just, to help win a World Series in Boston. So wherever I'm at that time, it's just trying to learn and get better each day, whether it's, Virginia, Maine, whatever it may be. So nothing really changes for me. Just, going into this coming year, same thing, just trying to learn as much as I can and, be present wherever I'm at.
See, I've always questioned that. Like, I think it's incredibly impressive to be able I think that Marcelo used the phrase a lot, like, ground beneath my feet in some of the conversations that we've had. But at the same time, you guys are now starting the year in AA. Or in Nick's case, like, it's quite possible that, I'm sure that you're going to try like crazy to be starting the year in Worcester, right? Like, just down the street from here. You're like, I can get used to this Central Mass thing. Is it truly the same thing entering a year when, Kyle, at the beginning of last year, you're at UVA, right? Like, you're getting ready to try to push your draft stock. Roman, you're like, you're competing for a spot in single A, right? Like the first level of full season ball. Marcelo was working for Greenville. Nick, you had to push, you had to perform like crazy, which you did in spring training in order to get that season opening assignment in Portland. Right now, you're at the rookie development program. You're working out at Fenway Park this week. You are you're getting to hang out with Tristan Cassis, who's talking to you about the future, about like trying to create this environment of what you guys can be in the major leagues. Is it truly not different than it was a year ago? Getting ready for the season when you're starting in AA or maybe AAA, and when you're being told your future at Fenway is this close.
Go for it.
I mean, I was just going to say, like, I'm a big believer in baseball doesn't ever change. The players just get better. So to sit there and play GM and think, if I play well here and then I'm going to get called up here, you're just adding more pressure onto yourself to perform, and that could lead you to underperform. So I just try to, be happy with wherever I'm at. We have people that control where you're playing and where you're going. So, I kind of just leave that up to them and just try to ball out whenever I can.
Yeah, I think kind of adding on to that, like, obviously we're in the minors and our goal is to be big leaguers, so it's something that's on our mind constant. But, I think all four of us believe that the day-by-day approach, like I always tell you, is key for growth and success. And, that's kind of like what I live by, what we live by as a team, as friends and all that stuff. So, you can't we're not going to be in the big leagues tomorrow, or the next day. The only thing we could do is, try to get better every single day.
Yeah, building off that, I think just, not really putting too much expectation on ourselves. We're just, we're all playing together. We're all looking forward to, playing together in the big leagues in the end of the day. But just kind of building off what I said earlier, just trying to, go day by day and learn as much as we can and take advantage of the fact that we get to play with each other right now, whether it be AA, AAA, whatever it is. Just take advantage of that and build that bond early so that when we get there, it's nothing really changes.
Kyle, do you kind of approach that the same way? Because as Alex pointed out, you guys are on this track at the top prospects in the organization. There's people outside the organization who believe in each and every one of your talent and the ability to make it to the big leagues one day. So what's your approach to meeting that end goal eventually?
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all here because we work hard. And we all came from different paths, but it's that hard work is that driving factor. So, I mean, I just want to continue to work hard and play the game for the right reason, you know. You play the game for the right reason, it gives back to you. So that's my goal. Play, compete, and win. I keep it simple, so.
So the rookie development program has been going on. You guys have been together up here. And that has a lot of incredible elements, right? Like, you know, Brad Stevens is talking to you guys. You're getting to hang out with Major League staffs and Major League players. It also snowed. Marcelo's first exposure to snow, right? Yeah. Do you guys have snowball fights during this thing?
So I definitely made snowballs, I'm not gonna lie, and then my hands were freezing after, so I was like, I'm not doing that again. But yeah, we had another one of our teammates, Nathan Hickey, was here too. I walk out of the dugout in Fenway, and he's making a snow angel in Fenway Park. So it was pretty funny. I think we were all like little kids enjoying the snow while we saw it.
Are you, Nick, you're also from California. Are you experienced with snow, or is this
No, that was new for me. I've seen snow a couple times, but I haven't seen snowfall like that before. It was pretty cool, but I got to get used to the icy sidewalks. Like I almost fell like 5 times on our walk back to the hotel. I almost ate it, so got to get used to that.
Kyle, I have a feeling that you took down everyone, right? You're the one who, like, you know, although Roman, you've spent some winters in upstate New York, right?
Yeah, I've got my dad's side of the family was from Syracuse, and then he lived in Buffalo for a while, so we still have a lot of relatives up there. But it's not really like I'm used to it. I live in Florida, so it's all new to me. We don't get that in Florida. So, but it's cool. It was awesome to see. I mean, we've all seen Fenway, you know, when it's not covered in snow. So to see it covered in snow that was really cool.
Kyle, are you toughening them up? Are you, like, you know, pelting them? Are you unrelenting as a snowball fighter?
I threw a few snowballs.
Who's the scariest to be? Whose snowballs were the scariest to be hit by?
He had some solid snowballs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teal's a professional.
Most experienced. I too can concur. Being from California, that the winters are brutal. This is coming up on almost 8 years in the Northeast, so I don't know if you really ever get used to it. I slipped and fell in my driveway the other day, so you got to watch out for the slick spots, I'm learning.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that Nick can give everyone pointers on how to prepare for games in April in Portland, because get ready for an Arctic experience that's kind of novel for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of preparation for games, not in Portland though, your Major League debut, as Alex pointed out to me, was at the alternate site, Nick, where you were in Worcester, or excuse me,
Pawtucket.
Pawtucket.
The last games in Pawtucket, for those of us who, like, you know, spent a lot of time around McCoy, like, that's a kind of special assignment there. You were bringing eyeballs in. You were 18 years old, fresh out of the draft. People are watching on the live stream of, like, here's Nick Yorke working a walk against, like, pitchers in their 30s.
Right.
How crazy was it to be signing your first professional contract, and then to be going to a place where no fans, like, you probably have no idea where Pawtucket, Rhode Island is, and, you know, how strange was that environment?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was fortunate enough that Tristan was out there. I'm pretty good buddies with Tristan, and I showed up the first day, and I already heard someone hitting in the cage, and we were already early to report. And I walk in the cage, and Tristan was already hitting, going after or whatever, and I was just like, okay, like, I'm rolling with you to the field every day. Like, this is my guy. So I was very fortunate to be able to go out there and compete with all those guys. And it's just led me to have a better relationship with the big league club now. Just a lot of those guys were out there in Pawtucket, and, you know, it was cool. We were the very last game at Pawtucket before, you know, we switched over to Worcester, so it was pretty cool.
From that vantage point, I am curious, like, if all of you guys roll back to the beginning of your professional career, and I realize, Teel, that's like 2 days ago for you, but if all of you guys roll back to the day you signed, how has the professional experience compared to what you expected it to be? How has it been similar? How has it been different? How has it been better? How has it been worse? And Kyle, since you're the newest, I'll make you start.
Well, compared to college, guys just throw really hard at this level. There's some really good arms, and yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing I've noticed from a pitching standpoint. And overall, like Yorke said, baseball is baseball, and I try and attack it like that every time. And the higher you go, the better it gets, and just enjoying that road.
Surprises for you, Roman? Anything unexpected? Anything that's, you know, that's been like, you know, that's like kind of, this is exactly what I wanted to be, where I wanted to be?
Yeah, no, I mean, I expected it to be difficult, right, coming out of high school. I knew right away whether it was rookie ball or double A, it was going to be, different than what high school was. So, just accepting that there's going to be a lot more failure than in high school where, you're not going to hit 500 at every level and you're not going to have, 3 hits every game. But just more off the field stuff. Like, I think it makes it a lot easier when you have guys like this around you to do it with you. And even the guys that aren't up here right now in our org, I think we're all so close. And, like, if you ever come to a spring training day and see all of us, the way we interact and the way we hang out and get dinner and hang out after, the field, whatever it may be, things like that really do make it a lot easier to come to the field every day and, make it a lot more motivating. And like I said, when you have guys around you like this, it just, you want to get to, the top as fast as you can and win in Boston with guys like this around you.
Marcelo, everything been what you expected it to be in professional baseball?
I think that's kind of a tough question because, as a 18-year-old kid, you're not really sure what to expect. I think going into my first, short season in Florida, it was kind of what I expected, living in a hotel, playing every day, but you don't really know what to expect for your first full season because you're playing for 8 months out of the year and, it's something that you've never done. You go in high school playing max 3-4 games in a week and you're doing that for 2 months to now you're playing every single day for 8 months. So it's definitely a change. You learn a lot of things about yourself, how to take care of yourself, how to, perform when you're not feeling at your best. So, it's kind of hard to say that it is what I expected just because I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, for both of you guys, it seems to me that, you guys as the longest established members of this panel, it seems like the physical challenge of, the reality of the physical challenge of a full professional slate of games is so different. And even, Kyle, you played 54 games at UVA, right? So college schedule is less than a half. It's, about 40% of what a professional schedule is. How difficult is that adjustment to just learning how to manage yourself, learning how to physically prepare yourself? Because I think that we sometimes take for granted, these are really talented baseball players. Of course they'll perform right out of the chute. How challenging is just the physical structure of professional baseball as you acclimate to trying to be your best self?
I mean, it's really tough. As Marcelo said, we go from playing 35 games a year to 140 games a year within months of each other. So it's definitely difficult, and then not to mention to add in 14-hour bus rides in between those games and tough meals maybe in the minor leagues in a weird place or whatever. It's super tough, but at the end of the day, this is what we signed up for. This is what we want to do. This is where we want to be, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get to the big leagues. And if that's grind through the minor leagues, it's what we're going to do.
You bring up something that's interesting to me because traveling with these guys in the big leagues, it obviously is much more plush than the travel that you guys have. But making those 14-hour bus rides, playing games, what is, I guess, the most difficult trip that you have to take in the minor leagues that you definitely do not look forward to?
I could say last year in Portland, we went to, I believe, Akron, Ohio, which was a 14-hour bus ride, and we finished on Sunday. It was a day game. We left around 5 p.m., so we were slated to get back in at 4 a.m., and about 2 hours away, our tire went out on the bus. So we had to wait another hour and a half, 2 hours for them to come out at 3 in the morning, replace the tire, get us a new bus or whatever it was, and get back on the bus and then get back to Portland. It was brutal.
Oh, man. Yeah, you won't be missing that.
That was my worst
behind
experience.
We had another one in Portland. I'm not sure where we were going just because I forget, but we're on a bus and the AC just goes off and we're it's the middle of summer. People are in there with their shirts off. So then the bus driver is all right, I can't do this anymore. And we're already 4 hours in. We reroute to another bus station, which is an extra 2 hours going the completely other way. So then we do that, have to get on another bus. And then we take another 5 hours to get to the field. And it was brutal. But, that's kind of, it's fun. It's not fun in the moment.
Right.
But it's fun looking back at it just because you have stories, like this, we're able to share it with you guys and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it's part of being in the minors. It's part of the grind, like they say, and we've said it 3 times already. But when you're with a group of guys like this, it's really fun.
So who's the group leader here? When you guys are figuring out what to do off the field, who's the catalyst?
We kind of all just
we all have
do it
the same.
together. We all, hey, you want to try this place tonight? You want to go do this? Whatever. But yeah, we just have a big group chat with like everyone in it. We see what we can do.
Roman, are you differential because you're the youngest one? I mean, I do want to point this out. Like, it is absurd that Roman got like all of these guys have been moving at lightning fast paces through the minor leagues. I could point out instances where each of them moved faster than comparable Red Sox prospects over years. But Roman at 19, like, you know, that's something that Xander Bogaerts was the last one to do that. And for a draftee to be doing that, that's nuts. Not this century. So, yeah, are you deferential to your older peers?
No, I think it's all a mutual respect that we have. I don't think it's, I'm not like the little guy of the group, but
Yeah, he is.
we all
He's a freshman.
it's all, we all have pretty even say. He's the new guy anyway, so.
Roman is the oldest 19-year-old I know. So.
Do either of you, do any of the other three of you then qualify as the youngest 21-year-old you've ever met?
Kyle,
Okay. Example?
in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
He's a fun guy. He's just got a very, bright personality. But he's fun to be around. I knew the first day I picked him up in Greenville from his hotel. I could just tell he was a spark plug of just energy. And I remember the first game. The first game we played, he had an off day because it was his first day. He was trying to, get used to it and see how, games work because he came straight to Greenville from rookie ball. So I remember the first game we're in there. He's the first guy at the top of the dugout, screaming and cheering everyone on. And, at that point we were already in, I think, early August. So it was kind of the end of the year. And I remember everyone just thinking the same thing. This guy comes and he was just, a ball of energy, and it really did help the morale of the dugout and everything. And he had his he DJs for those who don't know, and he brought his DJ set right into the clubhouse. And after wins, he'd be spinning on the DJ table and making the clubhouse go crazy. So he's awesome. He's just an awesome guy to be around and play with. He's so knowledgeable, but more importantly, he's just a good human off the field.
That's amazing. That's going to be something a lot of guys, I'm sure, look forward to. That's right. Yeah, you can clap that up. You can clap that up.
Applause for DJ Teel.
Yeah, DJ Teel.
DJ Bass Monkey.
Yeah,
by the way.
DJ, that's his
Oh,
DJ
Bass
name.
Monkey. Okay. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. You'll be playing crowds, you and Steve Aoki in Vegas or something. Yeah. You know what's interesting, though, to me, because I think I've spoken to each and every one of you at earlier levels of your career, like when you first drafted, guys have come to Fenway or different things, and I was talking to Alex about this. Like with you, Marcelo, like drafted, a couple weeks later you're at Fenway, you're 18 years old, and you just had a birthday, so you just turned 21, and I was like, he's 21? It makes it feel like, to me, like you're still like 19, like you just aged a year. Does baseball and the way you guys go through the season make it feel like life kind of moves fast right now for you?
During the season, you feel like you're in the same day for 8 months. So during the season, I would say that it's pretty slow, actually, just because you're doing the same thing, but we love it, so it's fun. But like looking at the big picture, like moves by pretty fast.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I couldn't believe you're 21, man. It's crazy.
So, Papelbon talked yesterday about the culture of expectations that existed in the Red Sox organization when he was coming up. That was a super interesting time because that was actually following a lot of his wave. He was like, you guys are in Portland together. Like we're in Portland together. Like he was with the group of Dustin Pedroia, Hanley, John Lester. They were all teammates together in Portland. Really, obviously a very special group. They contributed a lot to a couple of championships. When you guys, in terms of, you guys have talked about holding each other accountable. Accountable to what? What are the standards that you guys want to set for each other as you guys are coming up together through the minor leagues?
I mean, for me, it's just making sure you show up on time every single day with a good attitude, and if you see a guy skipping out on lifts or maybe not giving their all during infield, maybe it's a tap on the shoulder. Hey, we could do better at this. I know this is practice, but it all leads to the game. So I think we all do a really good job of that, and we don't let each other take a day off. and no matter what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just demand the best every single day, whether that's you have 80%, you give your 80%. But, you know, I think we just hold each other accountable just because we all know that we all want to win and, you know, we want to bring a World Series championship to this passionate fan base. You know, we know that that's damn near the only thing that matters in this city. So that's like all we want to do.
Yeah, I think it's funny. We were talking when we were here at this development camp. A group of us were talking. I remember Kyle. We were talking about it, and we were thinking like, hey, we're all going to be in Portland more than likely, and you know, why don't we just show up every day to win? Because like we said earlier, when you're in the minor leagues, it's all about development, right? So you kind of get away sometimes from the idea of going out and trying to win games. It's more about guys are focused on themselves and focused on developing. But we're like, hey, you know, the goal is for all of us to kind of come up at similar times and help this, you know, city, you know, win a championship. So why not start in AA if we're all there and just show up to the field every day and try to win and not worry so much about ourselves, but you know, about helping the team win and building that, you know, in AA. So like I said, when we get to, you know, whether it's AAA or the big leagues, you know, it's not new. It's not like we're all, you know, finally coming together once we're actually in Boston. And then again, that just slows the game down, right? If you're all just trying to achieve the same goal, which is to win in the end of the day. So it's funny, we were talking about that the other day. But again, it just makes it more fun to show up every day and to play if you're playing to win and you're playing for the guy behind you.
You know, since I've been here, it's very evident that there is a high standard set here in Boston. A high standard set by the fans, the coaches, the players, and that's how it should be. And just holding yourself to that high standard is really important, and playing the game for the right reason as well, and taking care of the little things you got to do. Yeah.
So another off season behind you. You guys have already begun some of, you know, the working out and getting prepared and ready for the upcoming season. As you guys get ready to embark on this journey together, like, how excited are you? How much is your blood beginning to really boil and get pumped up for the season that you guys are hoping to have?
I'm ready to go. It's been a long off season, and I've been thinking about getting going for the past couple weeks, past couple months. So I'm pumped and can't wait.
Yeah, I think I speak for, you know, the four of us when I say we're all really excited. You know, we're all in a good spot right now in terms of, you know, how we feel and how the off season went. So we're super excited. You know, it's not 100% sure where we're all going to start, but you know, we're super excited to get into spring training and again, just continue to learn and get better every day. And then wherever we get sent to, we're excited to, you know, show up to the field every day and just try to win and develop.
So this is a pretty interesting time. I mean, the fact that you're being invited out here in front of these people who are, you know, whose hopes are tied, you know, who care so much about the Red Sox. You know, you guys are being introduced as part of what the Red Sox hope they can become in the years to come. Craig Breslow has been talking in recent days about how he really doesn't think that he does not see trading. You know, he doesn't want to trade from this incredibly promising talent, you know, group of young talented players because he thinks that you guys have a chance to become pretty special. That means that there are expectations that go with who you are. You're being introduced as part of the promise of the Red Sox. How do you guys take that? What is it like to go from that focus on development, especially to a larger degree when you're in Salem, Virginia, or when you're in Greenville, to becoming, okay, these are the guys who you can build your hopes of a brighter Red Sox future around?
I would just like to say that there's pressure, and to respond to that, like, no pressure, no diamonds, you know? You gotta embrace the pressure, you gotta love the pressure, and at the end of the day, like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, it's obviously an honor, you know, for Mr. Breslow to say that about us, but, you know, at the end of the day, we haven't done anything. You know, we're still in the minors. We haven't, you know, helped the team win in any way. So going back to our day-to-day approach that we like to carry on, you know, we just want to get better every single day, so that way when we are in the big leagues, which hopefully it's sooner rather than later, you know, we could impact the team.
who's going to be first to the big leagues?
Hopefully all 4 at the same time.
That would be cool.
Okay, so
That is a good answer.
yeah, exactly. That was a
That is
great answer.
polished. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
that was pretty polished. Already thinking on your toes, but I'm going to dive a little deeper into that. If you can't pick yourself, which one of these guys gets there first?
All 3 of them at the same time.
He practiced in front of the mirror last
Touche.
night. Yeah.
Touche.
When you, I guess I am interested in kind of the structure of how the minor leagues work right now. How different, there's been a lot of talk about the evolution of baseball and a lot of emphasis on data. Like I'm a nerd, right? Like I end up, geeking out about stuff like, oh, exit velocity looks great. How different is player development in professional baseball when you're talking about things like, okay, we want you to, we're looking for you guys to have a max exit velocity, that's here, or how different do you feel like player development is data driven, is much more data driven in terms of what you're experiencing in professional baseball than it was back in your amateur days?
Yeah, I think, there's so much info out there now, and there's so many different guys that specialize in different, fields of whatever it may be on the analytics side of things. So it's great to have it all out there, but then again, it's always great, and I think the Red Sox do a great job of having guys that have been around World Series teams and have won before it was a very analytical game. So I think it's great to kind of stay, have a middle ground of, taking that stuff to your advantage, but then again, surrounding yourself with guys that have done it before there was, a ton of analytics and know how to win, because ultimately, you can have all that good stuff, but, the goal is you still got to go out there and still got to hit the ball and still got to score more runs than the other team. So it's definitely great. There's a lot of things I think we all 4 have learned. There's so much every day that somebody has and somebody specializes in and has new info for us. But again, I think it's, at least myself, like I like to, kind of stay in the middle and not, lean too much on one side.
I'm curious about that from your approach, Kyle, because these guys coming from high school, like it's probably much different, the level of information that they can receive. College, they probably have a little bit more. So was it like an analytics overload when you got to professional, or was it almost like a bit of what you already had experienced as a college player?
I definitely experienced it as a college player. I have experience with data and analytics. I know what all the numbers mean. But at the same time, having a human perspective, like being back there catching the ball, seeing it, seeing how the batter's reacting, I think those are just as important as the data and the analytics, because just because it's a good pitch doesn't mean that someone's not going to hit it hard.
Right.
So knowing that human side, in my opinion, is very important.
It's actually really interesting, like, because I feel like, what I've learned about all of you guys is that one of the things that the Red Sox liked about you when they were thinking about you in the draft was that you do have feel for the game, that you do have, that you do have, instincts and a connection to the pace of the game. I'm curious for each of you, like, do you have one super important influence in your life, like who gave you your grounding in terms of providing that feel for the game? I'll start with Nick.
Yeah, for me, it was my mom. My mom was a 4-time All-American in softball, went to the College World Series a couple times, just a softball rat. And, I have 2 brothers that both play baseball in college right now. So it comes from that. I mean, we grew up, like, instead of going to play video games and stuff, it was like, all right, let's go to the park and hit grounders, go hit BP and whatever it is. But I don't know. I think you gain that by, watching the game, learning the game, learning from your coaches and peers all around you. Like you said, at 18, I was able to go to the alternate site and stuff, and just, it's all open ears, just trying to learn as much as you can, because it is such a difference between high school and pro ball with skipping college and, that development of your life. So I would just say my mom gave me all the baseball instincts I've ever had in my life.
How soon do you hear from her if you make a mental mistake?
Oh, quick. Yeah, I have texts after the game. Yeah, for sure. Like, what are you doing on this play and whatnot? So.
How about you, Marcelo? Who was a key influence for you?
No, mine was definitely, first of all, my whole family. We all sacrificed a lot for me to be here, but, on the baseball side, it's definitely my dad. He never said no to me from a young age, going to the park at 10 o'clock at night when he's already in bed and I want to go hit some wiffle balls, he was always there with me. So, I wouldn't be here without him. I wouldn't be here without my family. So, yeah, even to this day, we talk every single night about the games, what I did good, what I did bad, what I need to work on. So, without him, I'm not here right now.
Natural parent follow-up. What time were you going to bed at as a kid? Going to the park to...
I'm telling you, I was a pretty hyperactive kid, so I still am.
Roman, who was your most important influence growing up?
Yeah, there's a million people I could, give credit to for different things. I think mainly my parents, for putting, myself and my siblings into sports. They grew up at a time where they weren't able to really play sports. They had to work throughout high school and college, both of them. So didn't really have a sports background. But luckily, myself and my siblings were fortunate enough where we could, be put in sports. And as a young kid, just playing everything I could, possibly play year round. I think that really helped me. But I would have to say, on a baseball side of things, it was my high school coach. He coached me from a young age in travel ball, and then kind of taught me everything I know. Since like I said, my parents don't really have too much of a sports background, and my dad's kind of started to understand it as the years have gone by, obviously being around it, but I would have to say my high school coach, for sure.
Kyle, who you got?
I'm going to have to go with my dad, but I got to give a ton of credit to my mom, too. She always would drive me from facility to facility, and she was a softball player in college. My dad, I grew up in the cage with my dad. He owns a baseball facility, and he was a roving catching instructor for the Dodgers, played for the Dodgers up to AA. And that's pretty much where I lived growing up. He never forced anything on me. He kind of just let me do my own thing, and I was just surrounded by it at all times. So I'm a product of that.
Nice, how about that? Great influences from you guys. Something that just came to mind from earlier in our conversation about the bus rides and the games. I think a lot of people, fans especially, they understand that baseball is an everyday thing. You play every day, right? But once you're in it, you realize the grind of it. You guys talking about going from 40 high school games or whatever the case may be to 140, and you're playing every day, you're grinding through it. But how have you developed, a routine? Because even on the outside of it, for me, still being a part of it and being on the broadcast, it's still an everyday thing and I'm doing it. But how do you decompress after games and get ready for the next day? Because you're wired up after a game and then it's ready to kind of start to tone it down, get ready for bed and everything. How do you decompress after games on an everyday basis?
This is something I really got to work on. Because when we're winning games and I'm hitting the DJ board, I promise you we're not decompressing. We're in fact doing the opposite.
I think we actually talked about this, a couple days ago in a meeting we had. I think it's really important to, whether it's a good game, bad game, whatever it may be. I think it's really important, after the game, when you're in the locker or whatever it may be, take some time to think and talk about it with some of the guys, because when you talk about things and when you let it out, you're not holding that in, and if you have a bad game, whatever, maybe you're not bringing it back to your family, if you have a girlfriend or wife, whatever it may be. I think that's super important to know, to not bring it back and force that negativity upon other people. So I think it's important to talk about it right after, and then shower or whatever it may be, leave it at the field and worry about the next day. So I think that's super important, because it's a long season. You fail a lot. So I think it's super important to just, go one day at a time, and whether it's a great game or whether it's an awful game, you leave it and on to tomorrow.
Has it become easier for you to flush, Marcelo, whether good or bad?
Yeah, it's the first year it was definitely a little bit tougher, but as you go on, you get used to it. And I'm from San Diego, so all my buddies are West Coast time, so I'm 3 hours ahead. So, I usually just start playing video games with them. Once I put my headset on, I forget about the game pretty quick.
Oh, well, thanks for helping me out with fighting my kids on how much screen time they get. Working against me. I think that we're going to be hoping to take some questions from the audience
exactly.
in a couple minutes.
I think there's some mics. We got a few more minutes. Anybody have any burning questions for the prospects? Step up.
While people line up, I would like to ask, I guess we can kind of conclude our part of the questioning maybe. What would be a successful 2024 for each of you?
For me, it's just being able to play every single game that I can. I think injuries take a toll, and being able to get consistent at bats and being on the field has to be our main priority and our main goal. I think if you put expectations on yourself, then you're limiting yourself, because what if you exceed those expectations? So for me, it's just making sure I get all the work in that I can for that game and be prepared for that game, and then just being on the field as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. Obviously, I missed like the last month and a half of the season. I actually left the day they got to AA, so I didn't really get to play with them or see them. But yeah, it's definitely just stay on the field. It's been a long off season. I've been, working hard, trying to get my shoulder in a good spot, so I'm healthy this year. So, the biggest thing for me is staying on the field. Obviously, the answer you guys want to hear is get the call up. Hopefully the Red Sox are, in a playoff push and we win the World Series. Obviously, that's all great. But for me, I want to be playing on the field every single day.
Yeah, I think just, obviously building off of what they said, but just learning every day and learning more about myself and about my teammates every day, because these are the guys that, hopefully I'm playing with, my whole career in Boston. And so again, just learning as much as I can every day, whether, wherever I am, just staying present and helping whatever team at whatever time it is to win.
DJ Base Monkey?
I think it's really important to just soak in where you're at and enjoy the present moment. I think that equates to success in the long term and short term. And overall, I just want to win baseball games. I love winning baseball games, so.
All right. We'll start over here then with a fan question. Let's get your name. Where are you from?
Jody, I'm from Boston. My question is for Kyle. Have you had a chance to work with Jason Varitek yet?
Yes, yeah, I was working with him 2 days ago, actually, and it was really cool, just because I always looked up to him, even growing up, and yeah, it was really special.
Good, thank you.
It's worth noting, number 14 overall pick, Kyle Teel, Jason Varitek.
So they have that synchronicity. Stay on this side for right now.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Missy Myers from Connecticut. My question can go to all four. If you were called up tomorrow or whenever, there might be certain things that happen. Which player on the majors would you love to spend some time with for development? Kyle talked about working with Tech as a coach, but which player are you most hoping to get some time with?
You go first.
I think we've all, the four of us, being that he got here a little early this past week, I think Tristan's been he's been a great role model. He's been a guy that, I think Yorke and Marcelo have been in the org longer than Teel and I. But he's a guy, even last spring training, when I came into my first spring training, we had the same area scout. We're from similar areas. Our high schools always played each other. So he was super, he's super friendly and open to coming up to us. And, it's not usual. You have a guy that's, in the big leagues coming and approaching, minor leaguers to see how everything's going and to see how they're doing. And I think this week, he's been a great help to all of us. And it's just little things like he, gave all four of us a bat and just put it in our locker. Didn't really say anything. And so I'm really excited, to meet all the guys and to work with all the guys. But I think he's been a great help to all four of us, from the time that we've been here.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that Tristan is different. That's what makes him special. We'll go over here now.
Thank you.
I'm from Max. I'm from Massachusetts. My question's for Kyle. Out of the three boys next to you, who's got the best flow?
That's a good question. I think they all have really nice flow. They all have different kinds of hair. I don't know. That's a good question. I like all their flow, to be honest with you.
I do, bro. I do.
There you go. I knew someone would answer. Thanks a lot, Max.
We actually argue about that all the time. Just saying.
Competition takes many forms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You, sir.
I'm Paul from Southbridge, Mass. I live near the Worcester area and attend a lot of the Worcester games during the year, and I look forward to you guys. I enjoy following the prospects. I look forward to seeing some of you guys in Worcester. My question is, for those of you who have gone to spring training, how have the roster players treated you, and how do the coaches treated you? Have they, did he work? They tell you what you should be working on, or how does that progress through spring training?
I think the Red Sox do a really good job of exposing us and the big leaguers to the minor leaguers. We do workouts with them every day, and we hit with them in the cages and work with the big league coaches. So, I think we're one of the few organizations where you see a lot of the minor leaguers have a good relationship with the big leaguers. Not even being on the same team and stuff. So, I just think it's really cool what the Red Sox do with us.
I'm going to exclude Teel on this one, but in spring training, did you guys have a live batting practice session against any pitcher where it was like, oh, this is interesting?
My first one was against Brandon Walter, and the third pitch of that bat, he threw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball at my ribs. So that one wasn't fun. That wasn't fun, but I was fortunate. I got to face Chris Sale last year, and that was fun. That was cool.
Yeah, spring training, it's really early, and we have a lot of good arms. So I think at that time, with the amount of time we had off, not seeing live arms, everyone looked pretty good.
Yeah.
You got Sale last year, right?
No, I didn't get to face him, but I got to face a ton of other guys that we have that are legit. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
Whitlock's not a fun at bat either.
Yeah, fair. Whitlock is Whitlock Warlock. Marcelo, I remember you turned some heads when you took Nate Evaldi deep in live BP.
Yeah, that was last spring training, but yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. He struck me out the first time, and then luckily I got a good pitch to hit, and I hit it. Can't really say much more about it. It's just like kind of baseball, I guess.
Little guy over here on the left. What you got?
Is there any players that you look up to now and why?
Good question.
I would say growing up, I really looked up to Dustin Pedroia a lot. So.
Legendary. Any other influences, Roman?
Yeah, I think for me, I never really had one player that I like to watch. I just love to watch. I love to watch baseball, and so I think for me it was always just about I tried to go to as many games as I could in my area and see all the different players and learn about how they go about their business and learn from all the great players in the game, because there's so many new, young, whether it's young veteran players that are so good, around us, and so I think just trying to learn as much as I can from all the different guys. I think that's what I've always tried to do.
Yeah, I mean, don't hate me before I say this, but mine was Derek Jeter. I just loved the way that he was on and off the field. I love that he held all his teammates accountable. He's the captain. I'm pretty sure everyone in the world loves who Derek Jeter is. So just growing up, I just love the way that he carried himself. Looked to win all the time. So that's why I loved him.
I'll stay with the Red Sox. I'm gonna follow Teel and say Pedroia as well. I'm a big believer in if you work hard and you show that you work hard on the field, that you're gonna get rewarded. And if you look on the field, that man always has the dirtiest jersey, and I love that, and that's been one of my goals every game, is to have the dirtiest jersey walking off the field.
Awesome. We got about 5 more minutes. I want to try to get everybody's questions, so just hold it to one specific guy, and we can just rapid fire this. We'll go back on this side.
Hi, my name is Ben. I'm from Connecticut. This is for anybody, but I know you guys have talked about Tristan a lot, but who's someone either on the Red Sox in their system or any system, or anybody you've played with, that when you need advice about something you're going through a slump, that you call?
Wow. These guys, for me, being the youngest, it's there's so much to learn, and I have so much developing to do, and so I think you know, like during the year, even when I wasn't playing with these guys, obviously I didn't know Teel until he got to Greenville. I actually played with his younger brother, but I didn't know him as much. But like these guys, just whether I was in Virginia and he was in Greenville, he was in AA, just giving them a call and, you know, talking about it like I was mentioning earlier, just, you know, talking and talking with these guys has helped a lot, even when we weren't playing together. So I would say these guys.
All right, we'll go over here. Your question?
My question is for Roman. What would you say is the biggest change from when you move up in a level of baseball?
Yeah, I think it was just getting, you know, it's the same game, so I think it's off the field stuff, like adjusting to the clubhouse and getting used to, you know, the guys that you're playing with. You know, sometimes it can be a little bit weird when you get to a level and you get comfortable and then they're like, all right, you're going up, and now it's time to, you know, get in your car, pack your bags, and drive to a whole new clubhouse with new faces. But I think I did a good job at spring training of, you know, getting to know all the guys and, you know, building relationships with all the guys. So it makes it easier when you know, when you're in an org like this where everyone is very welcoming and, you know, it's easy to transition into a clubhouse with guys that you're having a ton of fun with.
I'm actually getting the wrap-up sign, so don't hate me. I'm like Jimmy Kimmel. I want to apologize to Matt Damon. We ran out of time, so sorry, you folks. But send your questions on Twitter. Maybe they'll get answered. How about that? Social media. But I want to give a big thanks to our Red Sox prospects, Kyle Teel, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Mayer, and Nick Yorke. Thanks for spending the morning with us this hour. And hopefully we see these guys on the road to Fenway pretty soon. Thanks a lot, Alex, as well, for joining us. I'm Jamal Webster. We'll see you the rest of the week.